Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So my name is Jackie and I am a third semester nursing student. So today we're going to be talking about nursing school essentials. So these are not things that were required by the school or by my teachers, but they were things that I have bought along the way that have helped me in either studying or organization, and I'd like to share them with you. So if you'd like to know what essentials I think that you need as a nursing student, then just go ahead and keep on watching. Okay guys, so the first thing that I have as a nursing school essential is actually a blood pressure cuff. So I bought this from, I believe it was Walmart, and I think it was only like $10 or $11. And this is something that I think that you definitely need as a nursing student. They do have them usually at school or at the hospitals or whatever, but this is definitely something that I think that you should have on hand or in your car or something like that, so you can be continuously practicing it. They do usually have the automatic ones at the hospital, but I think that this is definitely something that you should be practicing all throughout nursing school, because you want to make sure that you know how to take a blood pressure. So what I do is I have this in my car, or I have this in my room, and every once in a while I'll ask my mom, my dad, or my boyfriend or something to take their blood pressure just to see if I still have my skills. Definitely something that I think that you must have as a nursing student, and that you must continuously practice as a nursing student, even after the first semester. So blood pressure cuff, definitely a staple. Okay, so the next thing that I have is actually a drug bug. So this is a 2018 Mosby's drug reference. So this is definitely something that I think you should have in clinicals and in your book bag or in your car, because whenever you start working on care plans, they're actually going to be asking you about the drugs that your patient's on, and they're going to ask you for everything that is in this book. So they're going to ask you for the mechanism of action, the functional class of the medication, you know, the trade names, generic names, the dosages, the appropriate dosages, side effects, interactions, nursing considerations. So these are all things that you're going to need while you're completing care plans. And you also want to make sure that you start getting used to the medications that people are on. You're going to see a lot of repeating medications. So this is a great tool to, you know, pull out whenever you're helping a patient or you're doing your med check off, so that you can have all of that information accessible to you, and you don't need to take out your phone in the middle of clinical to find out. So this is definitely something that I think you should have as a nursing student, and you don't necessarily need this one. I think just a drug book is very, very important to have. So okay, so the next thing that I have is a clipboard. So I'm sure a lot of you guys have this as a requirement for clinicals. We did have this as a requirement, but what I specifically wanted to talk about was a collapsible clipboard. So this clipboard is so freaking useful. So what I love about this clipboard is you can retract it and you can stick it in your scrub pocket, and you can go around the hospital doing whatever you need to do. And if you need to pull it out and look up something or write something down, you can just pull it out, write it down, and then collapse it and stick it right back in your pocket. So whenever you're in the hospital, there's not a lot of space for nursing students to put around their things. Not only that, usually you're filling out head to toe or an S-bar and things like that. So this is an awesome way to carry your paperwork around without having a full-on clipboard with nowhere to put it. So this is super useful whenever you're in the hospital. So I definitely recommend that you get a collapsible clipboard. So the next thing that I have is actually a stethoscope case. So I use this case to carry my stethoscope just so I don't throw it in my book bag. But not only that, I also usually carry my badge clips in here. I usually have my watch in here as well, because you want to make sure when you go to clinicals you do not forget a watch. This watch was, I think, $7 or $8 at Walmart, and it's perfect. So I always put it in here to make sure that I don't forget it. And I also have my pen light in here, which is actually in my book bag right now, but I do have an extra pen light at all times in my book bag. So I put my badge light in here, my stethoscope right here, and I usually put my badge in here, my nursing school badge, because you do need to have your student nurse badge when you go to clinicals and when you're in school. So I just put all these things in here so I don't forget anything. So as soon as I take, you know, my watch off, or I come home, I make sure everything is in here. The days before clinical, I make sure all those supplies are in here so I don't forget anything. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to talk about is actually the stethoscope right here. So this is a Littman Classic 3. So a lot of the times people have trouble finding, you know, trying to figure out what stethoscope they should buy when getting into the program. So I saw a lot of mixed reviews on whether you should buy a cheap stethoscope or an expensive stethoscope. So I talked to a previous nursing student that is a graduated nurse right now, and she definitely told me to get a good stethoscope. So The reason that is because when you're practicing as a nursing student, you're not fine-tuned to heart noises or lung sounds or anything like that. So if you get a cheap stethoscope, it's already going to cost you more trouble to try to hear the heartbeat or the, their lung sounds, and if they're wheezing or these crackles or whatever it is. So it's definitely good to have a good stethoscope so you can already start listening and practicing these noises so you can get really good at it. Not only that, getting a good stethoscope is crucial because once you graduate nursing school, this could be your stethoscope. So this student that I had talked to, she's a nurse right now, and she still uses the same stethoscope that she bought, I think it was like 8 or 9 years ago when she was in nursing school. So definitely think it's important to get a good stethoscope. And then this case, I actually got it off of the Amazon, and I don't remember how much it was, but I can link it down below for you guys if you guys are interested in this case. Okay, so the next thing that I have is actually a planner, and I really hope you guys already use planners in all your other classes, but I think that this is extra important as a nursing student. So what I do is I will make sure that I get a planner that has the full month, and then it has actual compartments for each day, so I can have daily tasks and monthly tasks, so I can see my month entirely or my week entirely, so that I can start planning out what I'm going to do each day in order to get everything that I need done. So I think it's important to have a planner to start planning out your day. I also think it's really important to start setting goals for each day of the week. So if you can see your entire month, you know your due dates and everything that's due. So you can start planning out, when you want to have your certain assignments done by, so it's not all clashing at the end. When everything is due, you're not going berserk with your head cut off running around, because you've already started planning your days, and you have certain things that you're doing every single day, so that by the time everything is due, you already have everything turned in, and that causes a less anxiety and less stress, which is always a good thing. So the next thing that I have is definitely something simple, but it's something that not a lot of people have, and I don't know why, because it's definitely something that you need, and it is mini stapler. So when you're in nursing school, usually your teachers have different lectures, or they have, they're also a clinical instructor and things like that. And these teachers don't carry around staplers, they don't carry around paper clips. So it's definitely important to have a stapler for turning in either your S-bars or your head to toes, or assignments that you have at the end of clinical, or, things that you have to turn into your teacher in class, things like that. So I think that having a stapler is so important, and I don't know why not a lot of people have these, and everybody always comes and asks me for my stapler when our teacher gives us papers and things like that. And I think that this is something that everyone, any kind of student that you are, any kind of college student that you should definitely be carrying around a stapler, because you don't want to lose your papers, and you don't want all your papers to be flying around everywhere. So that's that. Okay, so the next two things are study materials that I think have helped me a lot in nursing school. So the first one that I want to talk about is the Saunders Comprehensive Review NCLEX. So this is literally everything that you need for the entire nursing program. So this basically breaks down your nursing program by semesters. So as you can see here, so fundamentals is the first semester of nursing school. So this entire section here, and it's also color coded. So this entire section right here is all fundamentals information, additional information that you're going to be reading. It is separated by chapter, by material. So this book is literally a supplement to your textbook. So if you want your textbook and you want all that information, but you want it all condensed down and summarized, that's exactly what this book does. So it separates each chapter, and it gives you, here, I'll give you an example. So this is cultural awareness, which is a test that I had, or a chapter that I had for an exam in fundamentals, and it'll basically break it down for you in a simplified way, but it'll still give you all the same information that you learned from your textbook. So this is something that I like to look at maybe a week before an exam. I want to look at everything condensed, make sure that I have everything done, and if there's something that I'm like, oh my gosh, I completely looked over that, I need to go over that, I'll go back to my textbook to read the in-depth information. But this is something that I look at probably about a week before my exam. So not only do I read the information, but it also has test questions. So it has a bunch of practice questions to make sure and to test your knowledge to see how good you are at the material of this certain chapter. So it'll have test questions, and then it'll have the answers, and it'll have the rationales for the answers if you got it wrong. Just switch the rationale is just an explanation of why that answer was correct compared to all the other ones. The next thing I have is a HESI NCLEX exam book. So at the end of each semester, at the end of each semester, you're going to have a HESI. So the HESI is going to be over the entire semester, and our teachers have no idea what's going to be on the HESI because it is a state exam. So a great way to just review all the information that you have been learning throughout the semester, but in one book. And it also helps you, like it gives you HESI hints and things like that, like things that have been previously on HESIs, just so that you can re-look at those and make sure that you do know that information. So this is definitely a book that is super helpful, especially if you struggle with like the HESI test questions, which I do. I love this book and it helps me so much, especially to review before taking the HESI. Since you have no other study materials, this is an awesome way to study. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is, I don't know if this is weird, but essential oils. So these are my essential oils. These are a couple of my essential oils. And I think that this is crucial as a nursing student. So I don't know about you guys, but I get a lot of stress and I get very anxious, and I have a lot of test anxiety. So this is something that has been helping me so much. I mean, not just for tests, but just every day. I mean, I get very stressed out. And this is something that helps me so much. So what I do with these is I actually have a diffuser, which is this right here. So I actually got this off of Amazon, and you just basically fill it with water, and then you put a couple drops of, like, this is lavender. This is what I use at night. I put a couple drops of lavender, and you turn it on, and it just spreads your room with the aroma of lavender. So every night, especially before clinicals, because I get really stressed out before clinicals, I'll put this on, and you just fall asleep to the smell of lavender. So it's very relaxing. So another way that I use these essential oils is when I have an exam. My anxiety is definitely at an all-time high, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are. So what I do is I'll actually take some, I'll take one of these. So this one's lavender, but usually I'll take the eucalyptus, and I'll actually put this in my book bag, and I'll get like a drop of water and I'll like rub it on my wrist, and then I'll put a drop of this and I'll rub it on there, and that smell will stay on there. So while you're taking your exam, if you feel overwhelmed or really stressed, you literally just sit there and you just smell your hand while you're taking your exam, and oh my gosh, it's literally stress relieving. It kind of helps you to refocus and to stay focused and to relax, to kind of redirect you to your exam and relieving that stress and stuff like that. So I think that this is an amazing tool to use if you have really bad test anxiety. I know people have this stigma around essential oils that we all crazy and stuff, which we might be, but if this is a placebo effect, it's a happy placebo for me. So I'm gonna keep using it. So actually the last thing that I have to talk about are these little bookmarks. So these are just some of the ones that I have. So what I use these for is to actually book off whatever we're testing on for, you know, the next exam. So right now we have an exam in a couple weeks, and it's on diabetes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my book, and I'm actually going to tag the chapter in my book. So our books are huge. They're like that big. So I'll just tag off the diabetes chapter so that when I'm studying, I actually just open up and I can go straight to the chapter. So I think that these are super important and that they help you so much when you're studying, because when you're studying, you're already overwhelmed with a lot of things and you want to be able to get to your resources really quickly. You want to make your resources as simplified as you possibly can. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please like and comment and subscribe, and I'll be back with more videos. Thank you guys for watching.